Welcome in, everybody. It is Manic Monday here at SBR Forum and SportsbookReview.com. I'm your host, the Big Man on Campus, joined by my co-host, Donnie Rightside, on the right side of campus. We're back, better than ever. Week 3 college football, Week 2 NFL will come packed and end tonight. We get you ready for next week and recap what happened over the weekend. Donnie, we had a lot going on. We had a great weekend of college football. We had a big weekend in NFL, and we had a big fight, a controversial decision, which we'll get to. Seems like we talk about one of these every month all of a sudden. Donnie, How was your weekend, and how'd you do?
Great weekend. I mean, obviously not gambling heavily. Don't have any premium plays yet, but you test your knowledge throughout the first 2 weeks. On the closing line, me and Gabe have a good time. 5-1 over the last 6 plays to open the season. This week for me, Jeff, it's like the curtain drops down. It's time to party. You're going to know pretty much how your football team is after 2 full games. Now's the time we can sink our teeth into it. But did make a little bit of money yesterday, Jeff, going 3-0. And I got to say something, man. Both of us, 2 straight weeks on the Sunday Night Football game. That's going to be a mainstay show. If you struggle during the afternoon, pop in on that night show. Jeff does Betcast with Gabe. Jeff and I also preview the Sunday Night Football game. Nailed both of those games the last 2 weeks. Very easy covers. And hopefully we have a string. Hey, Jeff, maybe we just run the table every Sunday night. But it was nice to get out 3-0 yesterday for me, Jeff. I know you did very well. How was your weekend as well, man?
Yeah, I had a great weekend, man. I swept the board, Donnie, which is great. NFL and college, 6-0 for me. And look, I mean, we gave out countless winners all week. I mean, whether it's college, we broke down the entire NFL card, Donnie and I, multiple times. I know Donnie and I did it on Thursday, I think it was. I think we might have had 2 or 3 losses the whole day. This is such a great avenue for free picks, free information. Become a smarter gambler, man. That's the big thing about it. Try to teach you how to look for things. Maybe you teach us how to look for certain things. And yeah, you know what, Donnie, you're totally right. Last night on the Betcast, right before the show, we gave out you and I the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, easy winner. I mean, it was over at halftime pretty much, for lack of a better word. I know Gabe gave out a good amount of props that came in. Gabe gave out the over. We had some in-play wagers as well. Overall, it's just been really fun. And a lot of people are watching these betcasts. We're all making money. And look, it doesn't cost you a dime to do this. We're here to do it for you, and it's been fun, man. This is when sports betting's real fun. When you can just, everyone's winning. And again, I'm sure it won't be like this all year. We know it won't be, but I'll tell you what, favorites, a lot of cash this weekend. And let's get into everything that happened. And we'd be remiss, Don, if we didn't get this out of the way first. We'll give the NFL and college football their due, of course, but. Quickly, I do want to get into the fight. I know you watched it, Donnie. Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin Saturday night. And look, I mean, going into the fight, I like Canelo. I bet Canelo. I think, Peter Conroy did a video with he liked Canelo. We all like Canelo. And, Donnie, I don't know how you were leading in the fight. I know you're not a big boxing guy, but overall, I thought it was a really good fight. A lot of good action, mostly one-way action, though. Canelo did mix it up a lot. He was very involved. I don't think it was a runaway by any means. The one thing I do need to point out, we all spent a lot of time taking a look at Adelaide Bird's 118-110. We can agree, all of us, that was one of the more ludicrous scorecards we're ever going to see in boxing. Okay, but the truth of the matter is, Donnie, she liked Canelo. Okay, she might have liked Canelo more than anyone on earth. But I don't think it was out of the question that Canelo did enough to hang around in that fight. I thought it was more a draw. I thought he won 9-12. I thought he won 2-3, and I could see a round mixed in the middle. This was not as an egregious decision as Jeff Horn, Manny Pacquiao a couple weeks ago or a month or so ago. But again, I know guys like yourself, Donnie, will mention this is why people don't watch boxing. And I can't disagree with Teddy Atlas and the countless other pundits that have said that. There needs to be more of a governing board, not 3 judges that there's just so much that can go on in that thing. But at the end of the day, we have to remember, whether Adelaide scored at 115-113 or 118-110, she liked Canelo Alvarez, okay? If you hate it so much, talk to the other judge that scored it a draw as well. Again, Donnie, it wasn't just Adelaide Bird.
Yeah, I thought it was egregious. I had it like Howard Letterman. I literally thought, and again, I'm an impartial guy. I just like to watch for the big fight. I thought Triple D destroyed him. I honestly had it 8-4 at best. At best. Maybe even slipping even worse, because I saw the second round, which went to Canelo, I thought, and maybe one of the later rounds. I thought Triple G brought it the entire fight. Canelo was backing up. Triple G wasn't hurt by anything Canelo threw. He dominated him in the amount of punches thrown. I mean, again, they're talking about like rematch. I don't want anything to do with the rematch. I mean, I thought it was just, I was actually, when I heard the 118, 110, I thought I heard it wrong because I had it about 118, 110 in the favor for Triple G. I was just astonished. And the one thing I do like about Triple G is, hey, it was a fight. I'm still getting paid and we'll see what's up. But for a guy who's never lost or had any draws, I'm and this is why I guess boxing is dying, because it doesn't make any sense to the average person viewing that. I mean, I watched it with about, 10 to 15 guys. We all had a good time. And we were just, checking our phones by rounds 10, 11, and 12, just saying, if Canelo doesn't knock him out in the final 3 rounds, like, it's a wrap, and Canelo should know that. And the thing I loved about it, Jeff, is in the 12th round, Triple G said, you know what? I already have this fight won. I'm still going to come forward and throw bombs in the middle of the ring. It was a great fight to watch, but it's just a travesty. And if they sign up for a rematch, I'm not watching it because boxing doesn't even make sense to me anymore. It really doesn't. They should just go, Jeff, forget 12 rounds. Just go until somebody gets knocked the hell out. It's the only way you can solve it, I guess.
You will watch it, and all the people on here will watch
it. I mean, it was destruction. It was like if, Floyd Mayweather fought Pacquiao again. Like it made no sense whatsoever. And I love when, because you can get a good reaction from Twitter. I don't know anybody outside of yourself with your opinion that thought Canelo won the fight. I thought he got destroyed.
I don't think Canelo won the fight. I want to make that clear. I thought he was closer in the fight than people think. I thought Gennady Golovkin, if it was my choice, I would have gave it to Golovkin. I thought he won the fight. He did enough. I agree with that.
What's interesting about this,
but it wasn't as egregious as people think.
In boxing, we had this argument. I have it quite a bit with people. It's a judged event, right? And nobody knows the score. Why not at the end of every round, the judge's posted score for that round goes up? I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was, that's a good point. Yeah, look, I think, again, we need to remember, I don't think Canelo fought. I mean, he didn't fight how I thought he would. And that's kind of been the odd thing about some of these fights lately. Canelo, you look at the way Floyd Mayweather kind of went at Conor McGregor. I do understand the way he did it, but Canelo just kept backing up all fight. I don't understand. I didn't understand it. I thought he had a lot of good action in the fight overall. But look, again, it's a rematch. Canelo sells tickets. Donnie, this was the most attended boxing match in a long time in that area. People watched it. The pay-per-view numbers are going to be great. Another fight's going to make a ton of money. And that fight will be the real fight probably. But listen, I hear you. I don't think it helps boxing for people that might not like it, might not enjoy it, or just watch it once in a while. I think those people. But at the end of the day, you're right. They have to get some sort of governing body or after every round or whatever.
But show the score. Show the score up there. How great would a boxing match be, Jeff, if you came down to the 11th and 12th rounds where one guy knew he had to knock the other guy out or he lost the fight? It would be awesome. Instead, you have both guys who always think they won regardless of anyway. You don't really know who actually is in front. It's baffling to me, honestly.
But again, the score, please stop mentioning the scorecard doesn't mean anything. She thought Canelo won, whether she thought at 118, 110, or 150, 113. She saw something that she thought he won. I don't think it's as egregious as people think. Do I think he won? No. And if it was my choice, no. Oscar De La Hoya did not pay anyone off. Both promoters, whether you root for Canelo or Triple G, approve the judges. They can say, I don't want that judge. Again, Adelaide Byrd shouldn't be a judge. I'm not going to argue with you there. She should not judge any more fights. She's had many controversial decisions, but take it up with her.
Jeff, it all gets down to, again, why is a woman judging a boxing fight? Come on, same thing. Don't call my football game and don't judge my boxing fight, Jeff.
Listen, I don't think it has anything to do with her being a woman. Again, she just – But to say she had a bad night's a little stupid. I mean, she's had a lot of bad nights as a judge, and this isn't the first time she's pulled this stuff. Yeah, she's just bad. That's a good point, Mike. She's just not good. She needs to be off, and she'll be off. I doubt we'll see her again. But yeah, again, I enjoyed the fight. I thought Golovkin won slightly. I thought he had one or two better rounds than Triple G or than Canelo did. We'll see how the rematch goes. I'll watch it. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for it. And I'll watch every other fight next week and the week after that. So, it is what it is, man. Like I said, Donnie, I mean, I like soccer. You don't. You like shit that I don't.
I liked it.
That's
But
what's great
like,
about sports,
that's
man.
the one thing is I loved the fight. I thought the fight was sensational. I thought there was action because Triple G kept coming forward. There was action all 12 rounds. You had a great crescendo in the 12th round where they both stood toe-to-toe throwing bombs at each other. It was a lot of fun to watch. I was just upset with the actual scoring of it because I thought it was, Triple G won the fight. But if you're asking, if you said nobody's going to score, it's just an exhibition, that was an awesome boxing match, man. Awesome.
All I'm trying to say to the guys out there that like Michael Coleman that don't have any interest, the decision of the scorecard is it doesn't matter. She liked Alvarez. The scorecard, it was egregious. We can all agree with that. It was terrible. It was probably one of the worst decisions I've ever heard. But she liked Alvarez, whether it was close or at a wide margin like she thought. 8-2 or 10-2 is ridiculous. We know that's not true at all. I mean, that's clueless. But again, if you have a problem with it, Jeff Horn, Manny Pacquiao was way worse. So
that was just disgusting.
That was the worst one. So, and by the way, no one wants to fight Jeff Horn now, by the way. I don't know if you saw it, Donnie. Manny Pacquiao pulled out. Jeff Horn's having all this trouble getting fights. Jeff Horn had 50 minutes of fame, but now no one wants to fight him. So, because, again, Jeff Horn will go away, but those are the things that happen in boxing.
Pacquiao needs money, though. Why isn't he fighting Jeff Horn again? And why is, I don't understand that one. That's kind of interesting.
Man, what do you mean, Manny? Why does he need money?
He's bankrupt. Boy, I had to borrow money from Bob Arum just to get through like the last 3 years. Like he's completely bankrupt. Like he needs the fight, man. That was really weird because I didn't care. I don't think Manny even cared that he lost that fight. He got a paycheck, and he probably liked the fact that it was such a weird decision where you could get a rematch and make another, couple bucks off the fight. I was really interested by that.
Donnie, Manny Pacquiao's worth $200 million.
There's no way he has to borrow money from his man. He's done. All his stuff went bankrupt. All his restaurants that he owned all closed up.
I've not heard that, but
yeah, take a look. Google it.
But again, it was interesting nonetheless. I'll be there next week, and I know you will too. Maybe, Donnie.
Next week?
I admit you'll be there. The next fight, the big fight, you'll be there.
I don't want that. I'll watch something compelling, but the rematch. There was going to be a rematch either way. If Triple G won that fight and there was a rematch, I'm like, I'm in. I want to see if Canelo can come back and win this one because now the next fight, if Canelo wins, you're going to be like, no, it should be 1-1.
Well, then they'll do a third fight. That's what happened. They'll do like a clause where you got to fight 3. But I got to tell you, I don't want to see Canelo fight Miguel Cotto either. That's not going to do anything for his career. Miguel Cotto's old. Miguel Cotto's. I mean, move on. Come on. But all right, let's jump into the real reason we're here, Donnie, and that's football. College football. Again, overall, you look at the big view. Looks like a lot of favorites cash this weekend, Donnie.
Wasn't it? Somebody made a comment to us, or I don't know if it was directed at you and me, but I know I saw it on Twitter. Like the feel of Sunday's game, Jeff. Sunday's games. Like, didn't you just see them like clear? The guy whoever tweeted at me, I wish he could. It was in the chat box or something, but he made a really good point saying, if you're looking at every game yesterday, if you broke it down and checked in on it, they all went just about according to plan, other than like maybe Seattle and a runaway victory. They still won the football game, but man, it was awesome.
I'll get to the numbers here when we get to that. Let's start out with college, though, Donnie.
Okay.
I guess that's really kind of my thoughts here. It felt like a lot of favorites in college cash this week. A lot of big favorites got the job done. Clemson covered. Oklahoma State covered. Alabama did not cover, but it just seemed like a lot of things and came to fruition. And if you look at it, though, the biggest underdog to cash, Donnie, outright, Mississippi State at plus 260, 8-point underdog. So there weren't any big outright upsets. There weren't any, most of the big favorites. Penn State landed a big number. Ohio State, wherever you got the number, you either pushed or whatever. There were some big numbers. I mean, Virginia Tech got a lot of steam. They rolled. But we'll start out with Clemson, Donnie. Big story with them. This offense really kicked it into gear. And, I think the big question with Clemson is still, are they that good offensively? I mean, Louisville's not a good defensive side. We know that. All of us know that. But they didn't play well against Auburn offensively. Again, this is the big thing about college football and the NFL early on. Are these teams on both sides of the ball legitimate? I think defensively, they're absolutely fantastic, Clemson. They're one of the best. But offensively, I'm going to want to see a little bit more. We're not going to, I don't know that we're going to find that out for a while, though, because you look at in this conference, who they get up next. They get Boston College. They're big favorites in that game. I think at Va-Tech, September 23rd, that's a huge game in Blacksburg, Donnie, isn't it?
Yes.
I think
No, I
that's
would agree.
gonna be,
But the one getting back to Clemson on that, Jeff, we need to get past this point now with Clemson. It's almost like you're saying, like, "Oh, are they ready?" Clemson is now a big-time, front-running, top-5 football team that is built for the spotlight. Whatever Dabo Swinney built there, after Bowden left, that unbelievably impressive. Now, Jeff, they go into the big game, and they are expected to beat people down. Again, still doubting Saturday. If you're looking at it like a sharp number and just saying, "Oh man, that's a Louisville line, stone cold," Clemson doesn't care about that anymore. It's at night. It's 8 o'clock. Clemson's going to roll you up like a fruit roll up out there. They're a good football team, and I'll bank them the rest of the way. They're going to be there. Final Four, they're going to walk right through the ACC, and they'll march right into probably the national title game again. They got it rolling, man.
And that's the point. I mean, Florida State, Francois is gone, so that shouldn't, that's not going to derail you. You don't play Miami in the regular season. I think if you get by Virginia Tech, I really can't see them losing, honestly. And I think you're dead on the money. By the way, my apologies. Idaho State. I'm sorry. The Bengals.
How about that? How about that?
Sorry.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah. Listen, I said in our previews that we did, Drew Martin and I thought Nevada was going to be a bad football team. The problem you have with Nevada is they changed their whole defense. They went from a pistol to a whole nother offense. They have a lot of they didn't know who the quarterback was going into the season, whether it was Ty Ganji or whoever it was. They're just not very good. And I'll tell you what, Nevada football has been under a lot of scrutiny over the last couple of weeks. Nevada loses outright to Idaho State. UNLV loses outright to Howard. Nevada football is in the shitter right now, all due respect. Not good. Good call though. Whoever mentioned that, I totally missed that one. But that was the biggest upset. Other than that, it would have been Mississippi State. But yeah, Louisville they just don't have anything more than Lamar Jackson. That's really all you have there.
They were a much better overall football team last year.
Sure. Texas comes up just short, Donnie. A valiant effort by the boys from down there in Texas. I thought Ehlinger played his ass off. It's a shame he fumbles there on the goal line. If you just go down, per se, there, it's a 1st and goal from the 1, and you're set up in business. But I'll give USC credit. I mean, they came back and won. It wasn't a great performance. I got to tell you, I'm not sure who put out 16.5 or 15 or whatever that line was. Not sure I understand that thinking pattern. I mean, Tom Herman always has his teams ready for big games like this. Texas was valiant, man, and it's a shame they couldn't win that football game. They were right there. They had that opportunity, but a close game throughout. I'm sure a lot of people missed this game just because of the fight was on and that kind of stuff. Any thoughts on what you saw to Texas? They're back per se, but can this? I still don't think this team will compete in the Big 12 with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State.
No, they should have needed that lower, slug out type of fight. Once they get into a high, I don't think their offense is there yet. Tom Herman's still trying to get that in flow, but I was really impressed, and it was perfect timing, Jeff. The fight just ended. You see, the late fourth quarter, like, yo, get this game on Fox. He turned it on. Gus is getting heated up. We go to overtime. So it was nice to see, but I was glad to see that fighting. I mean, again, Texas didn't win the football game. You don't get any moral, victories there down at Texas. But I thought for what coming into the game, what I anticipated and expected, they should have won the football game. And they were right in there with the top 5 program on the road. So maybe that bodes well for the future. But yeah, they're still a couple years away. You're right, Jeff, from that Big 12.
Yeah, and Tom Herman's going to build that program. But you look at Ehlinger. I mean, 50% completion basically. Did have 2 interceptions. I was surprised he didn't go to Buechele at all. I mean, that was kind of, for a game like that, you put a lot of confidence in a freshman. He's healthy, Buechele. Again, I'm not quite sure why we didn't see him at all. But again, that's why Tom Herman gets paid millions of dollars and I don't. But if I'm Herman, I would have maybe went to Buechele at some point. I mean, I don't think one game against San Jose State is a catalyst for the rest of the season. Again, I liked Ehlinger. He played well. If Buechele struggles, you bring him in. But why didn't Shane Buechele play in this game? Can you explain it to me?
I don't know. I liked what I've seen out of him, but you're right. I mean, it doesn't. But what bowl is going to start next week? Then who goes again? Ehlinger goes again.
That's the problem you have going forward. I mean, you're just not getting any kind of confidence out of Buechele. I mean, he's been pretty good at Texas for the most part. I mean, I don't understand that, but I guess again, that's Tom Herman for you. Donnie, you made a good comment to me, and I think you mentioned it on Twitter. We overreact a lot about teams early on in both NFL and college, really in any sport we talk about. It's funny, Donnie, in the soccer, Huddersfield. They were just promoted up to the Premier League. They've never been in the Premier League. I think they started out, they hadn't given up a goal in the first 3 games. Now, I have had this team pegged as a guaranteed relegation team. They're going to go right back down. I heard people saying that maybe this team would finish in the top 10. Their defense is awesome. Their stat. I mean, you don't, in every sport you hear ridiculous stuff, don't you? But yeah. Oklahoma State, I mean, this team is rolling offensively, but they've played Tulsa, who's possibly the worst defensive team in the country. They've played South Alabama, who can't move the ball against you and me. And they've played Pittsburgh. What's going to happen next week when they head into they're laying a big number, 12 points at TCU. Bedlam's going to be great this year. Do you, Donnie Rightside, personally believe right now in Oklahoma State?
I mean, hey, if you have a quarterback that can just throw dimes out there, you have a dominant wide receiver and an offense that moves the football. That's what wins in college. Imagine if you dropped, Oklahoma State in that offense and just matched them up with somebody in the SEC, like in LSU. Like, let's just say, what I'm trying to equate here is it's hard to have an offense, or it's hard to stop an offense that's that good. You're going to be in every single football game because most teams, Jeff, that play lights out defense don't have the offense to match it. They're going to be hell to pay because if you have a quarterback that can throw from anywhere on the field to a dynamic set of wide receivers in stride, that's going to be a problem. And I know there's a lot of sharp money. Well, let's see how they do against Pitt. Pitt was good last year and all this and that. I mean, that game, it looked like the varsity versus the JV, like right away in that game, didn't it?
Sharps have gotten crushed with Oklahoma State. I mean, they've been all against them every week so far. I'm going to get to some other sharp moves this week, and we'll let you know how those did. But
I don't want this game to get lost, but it seems like it has. I know San Diego pro team left town, but San Diego State is out here balling this year, and they're not getting any respect out there at all from any national guys. Like, oh, yeah, they won, but so it's not a big deal.
I was going to mention them. And, I got to tell you, Stanford is not going to win anything, and the 110-1 ticket is ripped up at this point. But you know what? You got to take some value once in a while, and, hey, you got to get some wrong, don't you? But I got to tell you, I couldn't have been happier. You lose to a program that's near and dear to my heart. I love San Diego State. I love their basketball team. I've been out there many times. I enjoy Montezuma Mesa, and a huge win. What a great win for this program. Rocky Long gets no respect, but I wonder when he's going to. They must be ranked this week. The fact that they're not ranked is a travesty. You've already beaten one Pac-12 team. Now you beat another one. Get this team in the top 20. They belong there. Rashad Penny is a star. We forget. Many think that just because Pumphrey left, now we don't worry about San Diego State. Well, you better learn about San Diego State because Penny is a great running back. I think Rashad Penny's a top 10 running back in this country. Very good. Chapman's played unbelievably good as well. I'm very impressed with this team. Very impressive stuff. Very good call. But you're right with Oak State, Donnie. I think they're looking like that typical Big 12 offense. Have a little bit of a defense. We'll see how that goes. I think that's going to be their problem defensively once they get into Big 12 play. But we'll see. Big game against TCU this weekend. This is the shithead of the weekend, Donnie. None other than our boy James Franklin. Beat another Patsy. They're up 56-0, and the shithead with 11 seconds left ices the kicker, who's going in to kick a field goal for Georgia State. Claiming
Did he really?
Yes.
No, see, I didn't pay any attention to that game.
No, Google it. Google it. 11 seconds left. He iced the kicker, stating that he had the wrong defense on the field. A shit move by this guy. Week after week, he does this kind of thing. Scumbag he is.
So let me get this straight. You're up 50 points.
56 points.
56 points.
Correct.
I don't care, Jeff, if you actually forgot to send your field goal block defense out there. And like nobody was out there. You guys are, oh my God, we're at a TV break. I just go ahead and let them kick the field goal. That's just it's funny because there's not a reason to hate him like just now. Like this has been going on for years and years about this guy.
Yeah, remember his comment about Pittsburgh? I mean, he's a loser. He's a punk. That's what he is. He's always been a punk. You look at the first 3 games for Penn State, this big time program that's back. Akron, Pittsburgh, Georgia State.
Yeah, that's them. No, they're not out there,
and get their ass kicked this week. I'd love to see that. Please let that happen.
Or they're taking like bonus points because I mean, hey, like James Franklin got a huge extension. What did you win? oh, we won but then you got beat in the bowl game. So you really, I mean, you didn't win a national title. Congratulations. Now let's see what you do. You have your first real game in this because they're still playing football. Kudos to the bigger teams, Jeff, that now let's step outside the box. Alabama every year goes toe-to-toe with a big weapon. Game one, bring it on. And most of these teams follow suit. I guess Penn State's still in that Joe Paterno like scheduling mode where let's play 7 straight home games against all C components and rack up those wins before we get in. Yep. And even Urban Meyer steps in now because Urban Meyer was always big on, let's just rack up and play every single MAC team the first 6 weeks of the season. So everybody's stepping out. So we'll see. And again, they have Iowa this week, but who's their non-conference this year, Jeff? Who's their big non-conference game, Penn State? Do they even have one?
No, they played Pittsburgh, Akron, and Georgia State. They also do not have they don't have any more out of conference. They're done with the 3. But yeah, this is what Joe Bot would do.
That's just embarrassing.
It's Kent State, Akron, and someone else. They'll throw in Pittsburgh, Johnstown.
Yeah, they're always big. Bad Temple was always big, Jeff. Back in the day, made sure they played Rutgers and Temple all throughout the 80s and early 90s when they were just like a runaway blast. But that was Joe Paterno right there.
Nah, they'll get their teeth caved in at some point, and it'll be fun to watch. By the way, according to the Dallas Morning News, if Shane Buechele is healthy Monday, today, he'll take first-team reps with the team. So I have a feeling he was healthy, and this is just, we wanted to try out our hot hand here. It didn't work.
He's young, too. What is he, a true sophomore,
Jeff?
Buechele? Yeah. So, I mean,
I got to tell you.
If Buechele was a senior, I could say, go with the young kid. You're not really going to win this year, but he's still young.
And that's going to get thrown under the carpet, not get mentioned, but it was a bad move by Tom Herman. You should have went to Buechele and you shouldn't have, again, Ehlinger played good, but it was against San Jose State. You got to stick with your guy. He was not hurt. It'll never come out, but they'll claim he was hurt and it'll all go away. Donnie, a big loss this week for one of my favorite players. I hate to see this happen. Deebo Samuel, SC, South Carolina, breaks his leg. He'll be out 6 or so weeks. This guy was second nationally in touchdowns, led the SEC in touchdowns. Just a dynamic player. And I got to tell you, Donnie, it looked like they lost him for South Carolina because they could not move the football this weekend.
That's bad news.
Against
for the rest of the year.
Against Kentucky. It is bad news. And it's kind of a shame for the Gamecocks. Seemed like they were kind of maybe turning a bit of a corner. Had a big win week 1 against NC State.
Yep.
You beat Missouri, held them to 13 points last week. But they just can't beat Kentucky. They can't, you lose at home to Kentucky's not good. But when you pull back and say to yourself, Kentucky plays them hard every year. Mark Stoops did a nice job this weekend. Tough break for South Carolina because this kid was electric. He had 2 kick returns in the first 2 games. Really a tough loss for them. I like him a lot. Alabama doesn't cover, Donnie, and the Nick Saban stuff continues. He does not cover non-conference games, it seems like. A big number there.
Doesn't he have it's like Saban actually has the right attitude when you go into those football games. Let's play some good football. Let's not get injured. And it really doesn't matter. We'll play some young kids. We'll go real vanilla at the end. Not like, ooh, now I have my chance. Like if I put this on my resume and beat this team 63-0, come on, James Franklin. Talking to you.
Yeah. I do agree with Michael Baia. I mean, down 50 points and you're kicking, kind of odd. But why are you?
It's a trash squad. Now, if that was Michigan down 63-0, and they were going to kick a field goal versus Penn State, I'd be like, dude, Harbaugh, that's just lame. But this is a weak program where they're saying, you know what, we got embarrassed today. Can we save some face here and just put something on the board so these kids don't go home and get beat by 65?
I'm not sure why James Franklin isn't called out more for this stuff. I mean, if that was Jim Harbaugh, he would have got called out. I mean, if any of these coaches, why isn't he getting called out?
Imagine if Saban did that. Imagine if Saban did that against a Little Sisters of the Poor type team and literally did something like that. You'd be like, dude, Saban's just a freaking idiot.
No,
that's Franklin.
This behavior from him has to stop. I mean, this is week after week with him. He's in the news for something in poor taste. He was asked why he did it. Really, that has nothing to do with it. We don't have a 4-team field goal block, so we called timeout to get the second-team field goal block in there with 6 seconds left in the game. Pathetic. It doesn't. I don't care if your band's on the field. You let them.
Wait, what was it? What he said? He didn't have what out there?
He didn't have his second-team kick block in or something. I don't.
What does that even mean?
Well, I hear you.
Yeah, like literally what happened. And first of all, Jeff, now did he come? Let's just say there's 20 seconds on the play clock, and these 2 kids are like, Coach, like, are we out here or not? All right, timeout.
None of the kids said anything.
They actually line up for the kick, and he iced them like in the NFL?
Yes.
Oh, see, now, see, he's just a moron then. If he would have called timeout with 15 seconds on the clock when 6 kids didn't know if they were in the game, that would have made sense. But something tells me, Jeff, that they had 11 guys out there, and then he called timeout.
And you know, it's interesting, Donnie. If you go ahead and look at the top 3 scoring defenses in the country, do you know who's number 2?
Who, Penn State, because they played nobody?
Correct. We got to preserve that shutout, buddy. Yeah, I mean, in poor taste as always from James Franklin, but let's.
Well, that's a football program, Jeff, that's not used to winning football games and being like, oh, we've been here, down there, like, you know, the big time, the Sabins of the world back in the day, the Miamis, the Florida States, they're not doing this because they expect to be there.
Right.
This is just James Franklin saying, I was at Vanderbilt, I covered up multiple rapes, I got this job.
Right.
After Franklin left, Hackenberg had a really good year. I blamed Hackenberg because he stunk because I couldn't coach him. And now I finally rolled into getting Saquon Barkley and a good team and a little bit down Big Ten. And I start this year. I mean, Jeff, who goes what? 3 years, like 7-6, 7-6, 7-6. You better give me that big contract. I went to the Rose Bowl last year.
And he lost.
Is there anybody exactly and lost? Yeah, good.
He's a clown. I'm strongly leaning Purdue, getting 9 versus an inept team that is Michigan. I actually took Purdue at 10. I grabbed the 10 last night. It's the one game I've already bet, and I'm going to share it with all of you. I'm going to lean on Purdue. I'm going to keep going with this team. Good for me last week. I believe her now. I like Jeff Brom. I think he has this team kind of in a really good spot right now, and I don't like Michigan. You're telling me they're going to lay a 10-point number on the road in Purdue? This team can't, I don't think, move the ball that efficiently. Wilton Spade has struggled in the red zone accordingly as well. They're kicking a lot of field goals. This Purdue team is, I got to tell you, they showed me something defensively on Saturday as well. Missouri's a pretty good offensive team for what it's worth. 10 points, I'll take a shot with it.
A lot of these games come down to, Jeff, are they going to be able to handle the physicality that Michigan's going to bring? You know, a little bit different type of game plan. Like, we're going to just come at you, play really hard defense. I haven't watched much of Purdue, but again, from everything I read from the tweets, I mean, Brom is them. No, is it a surprise that Brom's a good football coach? No, but I just want to know if they have that physicality heading into this one, if they can handle.
Because I'm not sure if you know, and I'm sure you do know because you're a good football guy like this, but many people don't know. West Kentucky lost again over the weekend to La Tech. They've had major trouble scoring, and Mike Sanford has struggled at West Kentucky. That's not because Mike Sanford doesn't know how to coach or whatever. Jeff Brom is just a great coach and did some good things at West Kentucky. And they still have the same quarterback there, Mike White. What's the difference, Donnie? Jeff Brom's not there. That's why.
Exactly.
He's a good coach. And you look at what he's doing with Purdue, it's pretty impressive.
Justin Pro says Air Force smashed Michigan in the mouth. Come on. Oh, that's right. Purdue run triple option, Jeff? Isn't that their offense? Yeah.
No. Okay. I wouldn't say they smashed him in the mouth. I mean, if they smashed him in the mouth, they would have won. But listen, I think Purdue's a team that will hang around in this game. I don't think Michigan is they're a pretty good football team. I don't think they're that good, though. They beat Florida in a neutral game. Florida had 10 players out. Their best players didn't even play. Who else is Michigan?
They coming back this week, by the way, Jeff? We getting Callaway back this week or no?
I don't. I think for the foreseeable future, they're not going to be in. From what I understand, from what I heard from some of the reports down there, that this is a pretty serious thing. I wouldn't expect it, but I might be wrong. As far as Michigan, though, they beat Cincinnati, who stinks. They have a new coach, and you beat Air Force, and you didn't do well doing that. Michigan, I don't think
they play Florida opening night.
Yeah, they played Florida open night. I don't think they have the ability to blow teams out. Purdue will hang around in that game, I think, but we'll see what happens.
Purdue, I assume, Jeff, is that right?
It is in Purdue, yeah.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
So, that's another thing, going on the road now, and a true road game, first true road game everyone was on Purdue last week too, and it covered. Again, being everyone on it, go ahead. I understand, but I'm going to take a shot with the Boilermakers here. I get your arguments here, but I'm going to go with them. Sharps continued on to be off on Oregon and Tulsa totals. They keep betting these totals down and lose every week. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm not sure why you're still betting Tulsa unders. I mean, when did that?
When did that become a thing? Because from every experience I've watched Tulsa for the past 5 years, they don't play much defense and they just go air raid on offense and very fast. I don't really know if that plays towards unders, does it?
No.
Correct me.
And as far as Purdue running for 30 yards against a bad Louisville defense, okay, but I mean they also put up 30 points and they can move the ball through the air. We'll see what happens, man. I mean, again, there's 70 games on the card, 60 games. I'm sure we'll lose one of them. It might be that one. But yeah, I don't get the Oregon. I guess for one point, I will say this: the closing number in Oregon, the under came in, and I just want to make a point for Oregon total backers going forward. This team in the last 2 weeks has quit at halftime. They've been up 42-10 and I think 38-10 at half. They have quit at halftime. They didn't score in the second half last week against Nebraska. I think they only scored 10 points Saturday against Wyoming. This team is slowly not coming out in the second half, and that's something that Willie Taggart needs to fix. This team is seemingly going to sleep. It hasn't bothered them because they're rolling and winning games easily, but total backers need to keep that in mind. When if you're not getting the best number, I got 59.5, so I won. But if you got 65, you didn't win. And that's
and how about your play? What was your key play? Baylor getting a key number, right?
Another point. Look at Tennessee. If you got Tennessee at 6 Saturday morning, you pushed. If you didn't,
Jeff, talk about. It's good that we bring this up with those shopping lines, and we get all that. The fallacy I want to also have is, Jeff and I, a lot of the week, NFL, college football. Obviously, I'm just started. I was giving my plays out basically, throughout the week, Thursday, Friday, but they're going to come a lot sooner if there is a right number that I like. And Jeff, talk about this to the people. And I'm going to play it off of the 2 games you had, which is I'm so glad it happened to you this week. You liked a number in the Baylor game, you got it, right? You liked a number in the Oklahoma State, you got it. Right. One went exactly the way you thought it would be. You stole the game with Baylor. You got the perfect number in that one. The other one dropped maybe 3.5 points, 2.5 points, and there was, with that line movement. But when you cap the game, same way I do, I say, you know what? And I saw your point in Oklahoma State. I don't want this game going past 14. I don't give a damn where it ends up. I think they're going to win by more than 2 touchdowns. I need this number here. Drops to 10. They blow the doors off them. Baylor, I got to make sure I have 2 touchdown spread in this game because I don't know if they can win the game, but it's going to be hard to blow them out and beat them by 17 to 21 points. You were happy with your 14.5.
Right. And I also said, I remember at Oregon total, that was a premium play as well for me at 59.5. Okay. And I saw that go down. I remember talking about it on the roundtable. Someone mentioned that total going down. And I immediately said in my head, why is that total going down? That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm going to hit this now because I think on game day, it's going to jump back up because all those Oregon punters are going to come in and say, wow, Oregon total is only at 60. And they pumped it up. And by game time, it was up to 65-ish. It's all about the numbers on a lot of these games. And I got to say, I'm going to say this again. If you bet Baylor Saturday morning at 11.5, what are you doing? What are you doing with yourself? Why aren't you betting that early in the week? You got 2 touchdowns plus to work with there. Because
again, if you equate it to even like baseball season, where if you chase steam or you like which way is it going, what's the difference, Jeff? If you got a game at 130 or 142, as long as they win, it doesn't even matter. In college football, you're dealing with key numbers where you don't only have to win the football game. Obviously, you have to cover the spread. But I always like to get that out there is when we cap games, there's, sharp money, this or that, where the line moves. If you like the game and where you cap it at and put a number on it, then that's all that you care about, Right. I mean, it's the same thing. Yep.
Right. And I thought, in Oak State, I assumed, and this is why Matt Holt's a great guest to have on, because he brings up stuff like this. And I actually noticed him and I were texting the other day before he came on the air, and I said to him, does it seem like the Sharps are betting against Oklahoma State? And then he came on and further mentioned that since Central Michigan last year, the sharp bettors have been low on Oklahoma State. And when and that's where, for me, the sharp thing kind of doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because for me, I think sports betting is a lot about switching up how you're doing things week to week to get to the point where the markets catch up with things and that kind of thing. You just say to yourself, Oak State's, I don't like this team. And they just bet against them every week. How's that sharp? What's sharp about that? We're going to always get it. Like, we don't even argue with each other on these points anymore, because the technicality of sharp is not like, oh, I took it at 30, it dropped to
I took it at plus 30, dropped to 24 as a sharp play. I don't understand technically what sharp money in football is because, again, sharps can be on. Sharp just, to me, is a smart football bettor, right? Isn't that the whole definition of the term? Boy, he really like Jeff, if you said, you know what, Oklahoma State, there's no way Pitt's going to be able to defend it. They're going to go up and down the field, look for a real fast start for Oklahoma State where they get up 2 to 3 touchdowns right away. Bang, it happens. Isn't that sharp?
It just sounds stupid to me. Yeah. I mean, like, to me, betting Tulsa unders just sounds like a stupid proposition. Just saying. But you know what? I'll keep taking their word for it.
Donald Trump said my monsters are getting low. Yes. When you have a fun weekend and you plow through shows and, watching football all day, you got to keep it up at night. Again, Jeff, I'm an old man. I stayed up for the Canelo fight. Didn't get back till really late, so I needed a couple extra monsters, man.
And Austin Geist, I think that's a great point, Donnie. Most sharps are just people with a lot of money that can move numbers.
I don't know. Yeah, and Tom Marino, I love Jets last week was available 13.5. Everybody, Jets. This. I mean, come on, man.
How'd that work out for you? Yeah, look, to me, a sharp's a guy that hangs around a casino, acts like he knows what he's talking about because we see him there every week, and he gets on camera and says, well, this did this, and the markets did this. Shut up. Sit in your office.
You know what also is funny about that? Because if you take a look at, like, the football card, Jeff, time and time again every week, if you put the time and effort into the games, like, you'll find some, mismatches that you can exploit yourself. But the whole concept of, because the glaring ones that get a lot more, like, let's just say, what was an upset if somebody said I had Idaho State, right? But which nobody's looking at.
No one picked that.
I wonder what this guy has. Trust me, you're going to be more likely end up way under 500 if you chase money or just take the game that nobody's talking about. Like, if you have a big matchup this weekend and you hear everybody going, I like the Giants tonight, and it comes out the end of the game, the guy flash take like, I had Detroit, like, oh damn, that was real.
I also will bring up Billy Walters here and say, if Billy Walters had it his way, you would never know he was like this. He doesn't want people to know. He just wants to make his money. Now he does. I mean, now he's got in trouble with the law. But I mean, if you look at his operation, he moves the numbers. He just has a ton of money too. I think he's a sharp bettor. Yeah, because he's getting the right numbers. He's moving numbers. He's hitting numbers to get them back to where he wants them. Most guys that are sharp, I mean,
what would you say, Jeff, in NFL football yesterday? Let's just say, what would have been a super sharp play yesterday? Me and you agreed on Indianapolis getting 7.5 early in the week. Still at 6.5, I took it anyway. "Quote unquote" sharp. But is it really that sharp when you just broke the game down the way it played out? Arizona, back-to-back road games.
Yeah.
They lost their best player. Their quarterback is aging, and they're laying damn near a touchdown on the road. To me, I had Indianapolis. I don't consider that a sharp play. I just consider that a smart play.
No, I think a sharp play yesterday would have been Tennessee.
What would you look on the board yesterday?
I think Tennessee was pretty sharp, to be honest. I mean,
I think it was square as hell, though, Tennessee, in a way. Because everybody was on Tennessee.
Okay. Well, I think for a reason, though, and here's the point. Just because everyone's on it, I just think that means they were sharp to find that one. Everyone was on it. People like Jacksonville. I heard a lot of people mention Jacksonville's pretty good. But a quote-unquote real sharp play, I don't know.
Like, was sharp Cleveland yesterday? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, man,
no.
And it lost. Like,
the under was sharp.
Yeah. The only one I would have said that would be, oh, man, great play, super, super sharp play, probably would have been Indianapolis. Because if you watched them week 1 and you end up betting in week 2, most people, the average bettor probably would have said, you're out of your mind. They stink. I don't care who they're playing against. They stink. But when you really broke the game down, Arizona stinks.
Here's what I'll say. The final comment I'll make on sharps. Mm-hmm. I don't give a fuck about what they say. I don't give a fuck about what they're on. A lot of the time, I'm going to use that information to my advantage, just like Oklahoma State. I don't give a flying fuck what they're on. Tell me what Billy Walters is on, then I'll care. But some random guy that's lived in Vegas for 60 years that sits at the casino all day and has a gambling problem, it's not sharp to me. Sorry. And all these guys.
One out of every 3 dog plays and was like, I told you. I told you it would win.
They're just throwing darts like everybody else. And they might have just a lot more money than we do.
Like even the other game, Jeff, he had the Rams with a great week 1. Washington didn't look that good. But still, when you looked at the spread tickets, Jeff, 61% were on Washington. So it wasn't really
Right.
The greatest, oh my God, public upset. And again, if you had, San Francisco is a super sharp play. I mean, is it sharp if they're getting third? I don't know. We can debate and go back and forth. It's not even a debate because me and you are always on the same side on this argument.
Yeah.
Just make a good sound football. It's sharp to me. Win the game and tell me why you won before the game and after the game. You're sharp. I like it.
Right. Last thing on college football, Donnie, I thought the most unbelievable performance of the weekend. Virginia Tech was down 17-7 at the end of the first quarter. They ended up winning 64-17. They reeled off 57 straight points, had 675 yards total. And going forward, to everyone out there, ECU defensively have given up 51.3 points a game and 633 yards. However, they're actually not last in the country, Donnie. There are teams that have actually been worse than them defensively, and they are Louisiana Lafayette and Tulsa. So going forward, like I've said all year, East Carolina is a dreadful, dreadful football team. They're awful. So going forward, looking forward to College Football Week 4. Donnie, let's get in to
a little recap
NFL.
on NFL yesterday.
Yeah, I do want to mention, you mentioned earlier, 14 games yesterday in the NFL, 7 overs, 7 unders. So 50-50. Favorites had a good day, 8-5-1. But though the night games, the afternoon games, hurt the bettors. 4 of the 5 4 p.m. games, 4 dogs hit. 3 of them won outright. The only dog to not win outright was to cover were the Jets. So bettors had a good 1 o'clock slate, but 4 o'clock wasn't as good. 8:30 hurt the books as well. I believe who was the right play in that game?
Which game was it? Which one?
Public was on Atlanta.
Atlanta game 53% were on Green Bay, Jeff.
Yeah, so
again, and you could see that. I mean, that game actually, Jeff, that game yesterday closed with 70,000 tickets tracked, more than double of the next closest game. And prevailing wisdom would be in this one. Wait a second, Green Bay's getting points here. I'll take Green Bay getting points. But when you broke the game down into the smallest element level, it was clear it was going to be Atlanta in that one. Jeff, how are you going to go against a team that's built on speed with a speed rush and have both of your tackles out for the football game? That doesn't work very well.
And last night, Green Bay's defense was exploited as bad as always. That's what happens. And Aaron Rodgers looked bad for the most part. I didn't think he looked himself.
He lost his top wideout right away. Randall Cobb get banged up. Again, you have a wide receiver who is your starting tailback to me, which I think is absolutely hilarious out there. So.
Correct. Overall, I thought Atlanta was the play. I don't really, and again, they did have a lot of that stuff as well with the stadium and just, I got to tell you, that stadium's gorgeous, man. I mean, really.
It's pretty cool.
And I heard someone mention it. It looks like a stadium from like London, and it does. It looks like a really high end. I do want to shout out Arthur Blank too. I mean, that's the kind of owner you want, seemingly. Concessions are for the fans. I mean, it's for the fans. I mean, I know the guy's a billionaire and he can afford it, but I think it's a nice kind of move that no one really will mention that he's doing. That's nice to do, for your fans. You go down there and eat. I saw you could eat like 2 burgers, 2 dogs, and a couple fries for like $20.
Free sodas, free refills.
How much would that cost at Eagles game?
It'd be stupid. You can get a hot dog and a soda for $20.
Right.
Legitimately.
Right.
Legitimately. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. $16 for a hot dog and a drink. But yeah, so overall favorites did cash in yesterday. Favorites in the 1 o'clock games cleaned up. Yeah. I mean, Tennessee hit, the Ravens hit, the Panthers did not cover. That was a push. That was the one push of the day. Patriots hit. Cardinals, they were what a surprise. The Arizona Cardinals don't cover. Who would expect this team? Why?
I'm surprised they won that football game. Indianapolis bailed them out late. They should. I mean, Arizona was brutal until the fourth quarter with 7 minutes to go when Palmer threw that dime, which about 50 yards, in between double coverage, landed right in the wide receiver's hands. I mean, they were just getting killed. I mean, they were getting killed by Indianapolis at home. That's amazing.
Matthew Varnum, Al and Chris mentioned cheap prices. Well, Matt, you shouldn't know that because you shouldn't be listening to them. You should be listening to us on the Betcast. So clearly you're not a big SBR guy.
Darren Ravel, tweets it out every 3 minutes every day about the prices at Atlanta's food.
Does he? I think I unfollowed him. I was sick of. I was after he continued to tweet out him and RJ Bell about if you had the Cleveland Indians the last 3 weeks,
my
what you
God,
get.
yeah.
And, I mean, how many times we hear about that? By the way, I also saw. Speaking of RJ Bell, have you stopped watching Ballers yet?
No, I like Ballers. I like that show.
That show is really bad. I mean, I'm getting really. I'm sick of it. I'm done with it.
It's a half-hour mindless
It's not
TV
good,
that
though.
deals with
It's the
football. I
same.
like it.
It's the same shit every week.
That's what it's like Entourage. Same thing. And Entourage, you knew Vinny was going to, smash some hot chick. Turtle was going to mess up. Johnny Drama was going to lose his job. And they did it all over the next week, and I loved it.
And again, that's why if I ever hear someone mention that it's in, like, come on. You're right, mindless TV. That's a great point.
Yes, that's exactly what it is, yes.
RJ Bell is a complete fuckhead, complete loser. Fuck pregame, too. I'll say that out loud. Fuck
Jeff,
all that.
how are they going to hire you if you talk disparagingly?
I don't want to be hired by them. Fuck them. I'm all SBR. I'm SBR. That's
Jeff, yesterday, winners and losers yesterday for NFL games. Who would you say NFL team, if you watch yesterday, said, you know what? The team's going to be a pretty good football team.
Chiefs.
God, you know what, Jeff? I got to take all this back. All summer, and I think most people are on the same page. Chiefs are going to take a step back. Chiefs are going to lose a lot. Chiefs lost their and blessing in disguise that you lost your starting running back Spencer Ware, and Kareem Hunt is an absolute animal back there. Blessing in disguise that you lost Macklin, so now you're a little bit more conservative. You have to actually call a better game out of Andy Reid, which he's been doing. Andy Reid's play, which it really astonishes me, Jeff, because it gets me upset. Like the Andy Reid that was in Philadelphia is completely different to the Andy Reid that's actually in Kansas City, and it's mind-boggling. He wasn't blowing timeouts anymore. He wasn't calling, 97 passes in a row. The running game's not working. He's still sticking with it. It really gets on my nerves, actually.
Who, Andy Reid?
Yeah, Andy Reid.
Nah,
that's a really good football team. And I was all summer long. I'm going, Chiefs under, man. I don't know where they're going to score their points off.
No, they
look like the best team in the NFL.
No, they definitely seemingly every week you look at them and they say, "Well, they don't have any receivers." I mean, they don't. Their running back's young. I mean, they have Alex Smith. Their defense isn't good enough. They lost Eric Berry. Mm-hmm. But yeah, although look, it's week 2. I saw on fucking First Take today they were saying, are they the best team in the league? Blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's so early.
Look, I think that's a little early. Yeah. I still think Pittsburgh's better than them long term. I think clearly New England. I mean, listen, they're a good football team, but let's pump the brakes a little bit. But it is week 2, and that's why we're here. The team that was disappointing. Listen, I'd have to say Arizona. I mean, I know they won yesterday, but they just don't give you a lot of confidence going forward. That was concerning.
Chargers to me again, man. Again.
But they always lose, don't they?
That's what I mean. It's just disconcerting. And again, you left it in a young kicker. Maybe if you had a veteran, maybe if you didn't get rid of Nick Novak, Jeff, maybe you'd be at least 1-1 right now.
Yeah. No,
Josh Lambo.
Yeah, I don't understand the young kicker thing that's seizing the NFL.
The nation, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, instead of going out and getting high-level veterans that can still kick in this league and aren't going to fold under pressure.
Jeff, if you have a younger kicker, like I could see Oakland going out and getting a young kicker going, you know what? Janikowski's hurt now. He might be on the end of the line. But like a Caleb Sturgis with the Eagles who might come back. Like, wouldn't you just want a veteran to come in and be like, look, man, I just need you from 45 yards and in. You're not going to get nervous, and you're going to make 85 to 90% of your kicks. No, let's go with the kid who's never actually kicked in a high-level game here and just put him out there. 30-yard miss.
Couple other disappointments, I'll agree. I got to tell you, the Dallas Cowboys have some real trouble defensively. They got some problems. I mean, I know they had some people out yesterday, but that offensive line can't score the football. Ezekiel Elliott was – and I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to seeing them play the Eagles now because I think that front seven is going to cause some trouble to Zeke Elliott. But we'll see. Eagles were disappointing yesterday. I don't think they're a threat to do anything. Someone said they're a threat. I don't see that, but
they might win the NFC East. I mean, they're a year ahead of schedule anyway. They're not. Their time is going to come next year. They're just trying to find out if they can make a run, improve on last year. Wentz takes a step forward because Carson Wentz is a football player. If you don't have him throw 55 times in a game, he's going to be even better. But somehow, did I hear the calling right, Jeff? Was it was either like 46-13 or 56-13 called passes to run ratio, which is outlandish, outrageous, and fireable. If you just want your quarterback to A, get in the bad habits, and B, get killed, that's how you go about doing it.
Right. And here's another issue that we keep having to mention. How many of those rush attempts were Carson Wentz? I mean, honestly, look at the box score, Donnie, and there were probably at least 5 or 6.
But it does, like, it gets back to football. I mean, and Doug Peterson played football, but it's everybody know, like, even in Madden, if I'm just going to throw, like, I play you in Madden and I throw the ball every down, like, why are you even going to have anything that resembles a run defense or a 4-3 defense out there?
They had 17 total rushing attempts, which is ridiculous, and Carson had 4 of them. Darren Sproles had 10. Smallwood had 3 for 4 yards. Their rushing attack is non-existent, and they don't even attempt to rush the ball. I mean, you take Blunt out completely. You don't say, well, we're going to cut down his carries. We're just going to say fuck it and do something totally different and take him totally out of the game. I don't like it. The offensive line is really – Siamalu is playing really bad. That's about it. Jimmy the Bag, Seahawks. Yeah, no, Seahawks would look bad yesterday. And I'm going to tell you, I said to Donnie last night, the LA Rams are going to win that division. I'm telling you. Well, mark my motherfucking words. I think they're going to win that division. Alex Smith MVP odds, I'm not sure what they are. I'd have to look that up. Eagles look much better than the Seahawks. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Offensively, the Seahawks are having trouble, Donnie. And why do you think that is?
No offensive line. That's where you win. Same thing. Sorry, so somebody took at the Giants. I'm just licking my chop. Let's just say if we look at the
let's go over that game tonight. I forgot about that.
I actually don't have much on this game because it's week 2. The Giants need the victory, obviously, more than Detroit. But if Odell Beckham, Jeff, comes out here half-assed and not ready to play football, they're not going to move the football again. The Detroit Lions defense is better than the Dallas Cowboys defense. The one thing that you can play off of is the scenario, which, again, if to put it this way, if the Giants go into this 0-2, it's basically ending their season. But B, you're going into a team that you completely don't match up with against the Philadelphia Eagles. The front seven that Eli might get killed next week, body bagged next week. They have to win this football game. They have to win it at home. But again, if Odell Beckham goes out there pregame, I'm just not ready, coach. Good luck, because Matthew Stafford's a gamer. He doesn't win very many football games on the road. I hear that. But the Detroit Lions aren't going to lay down in this football game against the Giants because the Giants' offense is awful at this point. The Giants have to win this game.
According to Sporting News, Odell Beckham has a good chance of playing. But which
means he's not healthy. What's he built on, Jeff? Quickness and speed. I have a high ankle sprain. If I'm playing at 75%, Odell Beckham doesn't help you.
Yeah, he's
not a big wide receiver that's going to post you up.
I think this Detroit team with Matt Stafford, I think they're always going to be in a game. Can he win the game is the question. I like their receiving core all of a sudden with Galladay. Defensive line, pretty good. Ziggy Ansah, Nada. I like them tonight. I'm going to take the point to them here on the road. I mentioned it last night. I liked it. I think they could win this game outright. I just don't think the Giants are very good offensively. I'm sorry. And we'll see. I don't know what they are on the defensive side.
And you're already behind the 8 ball because, again, when I talked about the Chiefs being in a really good spot against the Philadelphia Eagles, Andy Reid's great with preparation time. You had, in effect, a mini bye week. I know, Eric Berry's lost. Teams have the time to make up for that. And Eric Berry loss is a big loss. Yes, it's not a season ender, as you saw. They're a good football team. But again, the Eagles are sitting now waiting on the Giants to play tonight and then play them next week at home. So Giants are already going to be on a short week heading into Philadelphia, and Philadelphia absolutely owns that team. And the one thing the Eagles can do, Jeff, that you watch, they can get, which we talked all summer. Eagles front seven is sensational. They're going to put pressure on Eli, and Eli throws that ball. Unlike Alex Smith, who can get out of the way of the pass rush, Eli just gets scared, turns that shoulder, and hits the deck.
And, look, in that first game against Arizona, they destroyed through the air for the most, 264 yards through the air. Let's remember, Detroit did benefit from 4 turnovers in that game, which, probably may happen tonight.
Yeah, Jeff, that first quarter, actually, Detroit gave the Arizona Cardinals the game on a silver platter with what they did in the first quarter. They should have been down 28-0 before they blinked. So if Detroit doesn't have those boneheaded mistakes, this is going to be an interesting one. Again, what are we looking at? The over-under at 43?
I kind of like the over.
I do kind of like the over because you have 2 quarterbacks that are really boom or bust out there.
Right.
The Giants game 1, but I hear where you're coming from there.
Can the Giants be any worse? They have to score tonight, no? They can't not. I think this is like a 27-21 type of game. I like Detroit. Is it the best play? No, I think the over is the best play at 42. I think it's a little too low. I don't know that I trust Detroit defensively.
And the Giants can't run the football, so they're going to be throwing the ball a lot,
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So officially, I'm going over 42.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't have much of it. I want to see Eli before the game, but if it's a must win for the Giants. The Giants lose, they might as well just say, you know what, Odell, I'm just going to IR you. Just get healthy for next year. We'll pay you a brand new contract, and we'll move on. And Eli, good luck. If you die this year, so be it. It's going to be your last year's quarterback anyway, and we'll get the future started.
But hey, we're just never going to address the offensive line, and we're going to just let you wallow in despair.
Let's go out and get to pay the big time quote unquote wide receiver who had a chance to be a number one wideout last week, not against a lockdown defense, and was completely obsolete and invisible in that one. Brandon Marshall.
I told you that was a shitty signing. I don't get it. Donnie, do you have any cleaning lady stories? LOL.
No, I do not.
Actually, I know back to last night, I told a cleaning story about when I got a cleaning lady here, Donnie. It was I don't think I've ever even told you that story, but I won't tell it now. I'm not going to tell it again. Big Man on campus is 132 out of 1309 in the Beat the Bag contest. Yeah, I am. Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate that. It's only 2 weeks in, so we'll see how it goes. We have a lot of time left. Every dog has its day, as they would say, and we'll see how it is on the 13th or 14th week. I remember in the Super Contest 2 years ago, I was 17th 4 weeks in, and I thought, wow, this is great.
Yeah, you're going to cash in.
I was jacked. I'm thinking about how am I going to cash and get my money. Then I was like middle of the pack. So yeah, I'm not going to get too happy. I am though 17th in the college football contest out of 185, and I'm building a nice pack there. So looking forward to it. It's all about the best bet though in that Jimmy the Bag contest. If you hit the 3 unit best bet, that's the big thing. One final question here. Thoughts on New Jersey having legal gambling by next fall? Yeah, we've talked about this time and time again. It's not going to change my life whether they do or don't. Donnie, what are your thoughts on that? It'll be great to go to the casino and play poker and put bets in. But again, I still live in Pennsylvania. I don't think I'm going to leave for that. Donnie, what are your thoughts? I want to bet on credit. What about you?
No, I can't wait. The minute that market opens up, because everything of what we do and love is going to get, 30 million more eyeballs on it. Betting is going to be mainstream, Jeff. We're in the environment already of being mainstream, being on camera, doing what we do. It's only going to, send that into the stratosphere. You're going to be able to walk into the casino. You're going to have shows at every casino throughout the country.
And Donnie, before we know it, we'll be a sharps hanging out in the casino every day. Hey.
Yep.
Remember this time? What's up, big man?
We were just hanging out on Google Hangouts. I mean, damn.
Yeah, remember when we were bashing sharps? Now we're a bunch of losers like them. Gambling should stay illegal. All right, John, you have your opinion. All right, everyone have a great night tonight. I'm going to go with the over 42. We'll see how it goes. We've had a great week. Let's try to end it on a high note. Donnie Rightside, do you have any official free picks you want to give out for this?
No, I don't have anything tonight, but I am going to be on the closing line at 6 p.m. Once I get a chance to really take in this game into effect, read up a couple more notes, see how healthy Odell Beckham is. Also, we'll talk some baseball. There's still some meat left on the bone there. We'll see if we can provide you with some winners. So tune in tonight to the closing line. We might be able to hand out some winners on that 6 p.m. here, right on sportsbookreview.com.
I'll be on at 3, weekly kickoff with the soccer guys, talking about some midweek matchups here in the world of Europe. We'll be on at 3. Join us for that as well. And Donnie as well later at 6. Gabe at 10. A lot going on here at SBR. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern.